Hey. What's going on? Look at that. We got a hurricane under me. You guys see that? You know what? I need to do some more sub-only streams. Yeah, I need to do some more sub-only streams. For sure. For sure. Whoa, why is my mic clipping up there? Hello, check, 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 check. It's getting loud. Check, check, check. What are the chances this thing hits New Jersey? 0. If I'm being honest. 0% chance this thing hits New Jersey. Is that making noise? I want that to actually... Yeah, I need to mute that. It's just got a little static on it for some reason still. No, this is turning away, yeah. What's going on, Kyle? We're going to get started in a second. I'm going to let some people get in the stream. We've got some fun stuff to talk about today. Multiple storms lining up in the Atlantic. Well, it's fun depending on how you're looking at it. Multiple storms lining up in the Atlantic and... or potential storms lining up in the Atlantic, tropical Atlantic, and then major cool down ahead for us as well. Pretty sure a lot of you have seen this. Oh, isn't it a sight for sore eyes? Isn't that a sight for sore eyes? Oh, it's beautiful. It is. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that coldness. And then let's move out 8 to 14 days. Oh, look, we're still cold. We are still cold. Oh, let's move out 3 to 4 weeks. Oh, look, we're still potentially average up to the north. That's our 3-month outlook. Interesting. They do this every year, though. Every year they think the whole United States is going to be above average. And almost every year it fails. Except for 2020 when the whole country actually did look like this. But most years you have sections that are cold, so. But that's going to be fun, isn't it? Look at our... we've got tropical storm warnings out here. Or watches, sorry. I heard they were evacuating... coastal North Carolina. Interesting. Interesting. I'm doing good, Tufts. I'm doing good. Yeah, you know, it's hard. I keep getting on the late streams because, well, one, I'm in Central Time not now, so it's always going to be an hour later. Gen X. Cindy. Shout out Cindy with the money gun. Oh my gosh, that was quick. I didn't do anything yet. I didn't deserve that, but thank you. You're awesome. I seriously really appreciate it. Let's see who's going to be my first new follower of the stream. But, oh crap, I lost my train of thought because I saw Money Gun. It'll come back to me in a second. Don't worry. It'll come back to me in a second. Tropical Atlantic's heating up. We've got this little ball of convection out here looking very nice. And we've got another low pressure out ahead of it right here spinning. I think we're going to get both of those probably. I would give 90% chance of formation. I'd give this 80% chance. I know they have it like lower than that. That's only because it's so far out still. And then look what's right behind this. I mean, we are just lining up here. We're lining up out here. That's typical. We're, like I said, we're pushing more, getting a little bit closer. 16 roses. I appreciate you, Cindy. We're pushing a little bit closer to peak hurricane season. The big cool down that we're going to get coming up here in a few days is going to be fantastic. That's going to be really nice. But yeah, I've been getting on streams later because I'm in Central Time now, but I think our stuff is finally getting delivered tomorrow. I'm still in an empty home, but I think our stuff is getting delivered tomorrow evening. They said between 5 and 7 p.m. And what I have to do is I drive 2 cities down and I put my kids to bed. And then I work all day here. Then I drive home, hang out with my kids, put them to bed, and then I have to drive back here and set up for a stream. It's just a lot of driving. But once I'm permanently, we should be permanently living in this home tomorrow because our stuff is arriving, our bed. Yeah, you know, Watchful, I appreciate the sub. Time to party. They've been evacuating the Outer Banks. Yeah, I mean, I guess surge maybe. I don't think it's gonna be that bad though. I moved from Philly to Minneapolis. We'll call it Minneapolis Metro. Pretty close. So, but yeah, I should be hoping by tomorrow night, you guys will see my new office. It's over there on that side of the house. Will Hurricane Aaron affect Philadelphia? You could have some really weak bands pushing up, bringing a little moisture into the area, but no, not really. Not really. Yeah, not really. You guys don't really have too much to worry about. So that is good. Yeah, okay. We got people in the stream. All right, let's get started. Give me 3 seconds. I'm going to go over everything that's going on, and then I'm going to start answering everyone's questions. This is live, Ghost Rider. This is live. This is live. Okay. 1 second. We're going to get started. Here's what's going on. 20-foot seas possible, plus 2 to 4 storm. Yes, 2 to 4 storm surge is minute though. Seas are going to be rough. 2 to 4 feet storm surge is minimal. 4 can be kind of bad if it does get up to 4. Bad-ish, still not too bad, but I think they're trying to have an overabundance of caution, and I agree. You never know. This storm is the one thing it has going for it is it's absolutely huge. Probably still about 500 miles across. 500-600. Okay. So Aaron's going to be out of our hair soon. They think it's actually going to re-strengthen a little bit. I think it's possible. We go over to the NHC. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff today. Again, let's look at National Hurricane Center, and we have a 60% chance of development. They do think this is actually maybe going to take a farther northern turn. That's good. 30% chance of development, and then we're going to have another X back here soon, I think, with the 10. I think we're going to be lined up like this. Okay. Let's look at our latest 18Z temperature anomaly from the Euro. Here it comes. Nothing's changed. Big drop of cold air. Let's take a look at the latest GFS coming up here. Ooh, 00Z is coming out now. Ton of cold air. Here we go. Look at that. We're talking Some of these areas getting up to 25 degrees below average, potentially. I mean, look at in portions of Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado, northern Texas. We're talking close to 30 degrees below average. Oh my gosh, just look at this. Look at this cold air just absolutely engulfing the states. In about a week. I mean, it's going to push in a few days, but then it's going to stick around. Look at this. Imagine the GFS is correct. We're talking temperatures 40 degrees below average if the GFS is correct on this. In Oklahoma and Kansas. Anyone in my stream in Oklahoma or Kansas right now, you're probably praying for this to happen. Texarkana getting down to 15 degrees below average. Yeah, I'm in a new home. Yeah, my stuff arrives tomorrow. I moved to Minnesota. Who's in Kansas or Oklahoma here? Look at this. What does this even look like if it... I mean, this is the GFS, you know, but... Wow. We're talking about temperatures getting into the 40s in Oklahoma and Kansas in August. Getting into the 40s in August if that happens. I don't think we're going to get 30 degrees below average, 30, 40 degrees below average. But wow, I mean, hey, if the GFS even gets close, wouldn't that be something? Yeah, I live in Minnesota now, yeah. I do. And then look at that again. Ain't no way the GFS is correct on this. No way. There's no way. I think the GFS is being a little too aggressive. I hope it's not. I would love this. I would love this. And then look what the GFS does. It pushes more cold air in. Look, the warm air comes back and the GFS pushes more cold air in. Yeah. You know what I did look at that's very interesting, guys? Is this. Where was it? I want to show you guys this. Let me show you this. This is our 10-day temperature anomaly from the Euro. Nice. I want to look at... I want to look at this. I want to look at... Yeah, now they're changing their seasonal forecast. They have December nice and cool for much of the East. January for northern tiers. I don't want that, though. I want weeklies. Here we go. Just look at this right here. All the way through almost the 4th of September. Look at this cold air that just sits across the U.S. Wild. That's a wild look. All right. What's going on, chat? You two Ghost. Do you think I need to leave coastal Georgia? Nah. You don't, you're good. You're good. Gold dust. 69. Boca Raton, Florida. Any cold weather or hurricane potential? Maybe some hurricane potential behind Aaron back here. We have some more cyclones potentially lining up, but this one's not going to really affect you guys at all. No. I'll stay in stream till I'm more tired and go to sleep. All right, Tufts. How much flooding am I going to see in New Jersey? Not much. Do you think any of the hurricane will hit Savannah, Georgia? No. Is Newfoundland in the clear? Most likely, yes. Maybe far southeastern Newfoundland may want to pay attention to this. But even by the time it gets up there, it should be pretty weak. Is Florida going to get hit? Not by this one. Again, we're watching maybe 2 to 3 other disturbances back here that will be heading in our direction. We'll see what happens with those. Orlando is in the clear. Correct. I'm willing to make sacrifices to the weather gods at this point. Yeah, right? Guys, did anyone notice my glasses are missing? No, I'm just kidding. I have 2 pairs right here for if it gets spicy tonight. See? Florida is too hot. Agreed. It's been an extra hot summer for you guys. And a lot of the areas up to your north have actually been a little bit cooler than normal. Um, Ghost, I appreciate you. NTX, Gold Dust, what was that? Music on stage, I haven't seen that. Laddie, I appreciate you. Lori, thank you. Long Island in the clear, yeah, Long Island's good. You're gonna get a little, you get some high waves off the coast, but you should be good. What impacts will Aaron give New York City and Long Island? Not much. You might get a little bit of excess moisture pulling off into the northeast, mid-Atlantic and northeast while it passes by, and some rough seas, some rip current type conditions out at the beaches, but you guys are good. What's stopping Aaron from getting pulled in like Sandy? Well, one major thing is our central high pressure, Bermuda high out here, is farther off to the east, allowing it to curve earlier than Sandy. We also have a much stronger storm than Sandy was. Sandy was farther off to the west when it started getting tugged too. This is now down to a Cat 2, but still a pretty strong storm reacting to this high farther off to the east. This is not. You've got another front pulling in here. You've got a high pressure spinning here. This is going to follow this like a funnel. It's not going to cut towards it, especially this front out here. It's not going to cut towards it. It's just impossible. Let me show you something. I don't know if this is actually even going to show it, but see this right here? This right here is pushing east. This is also helping to compress the storm off to the east, and you have a high out here. So it's following that. It's actually a pretty simple steering current. This happens to a lot of storms out here. It's not going to follow that path. Yes, it will. Everyone was saying that when the storm was here, that when their thing was like this out here, and they said it wouldn't follow the path. It's been following their path. It is hugged for sure the farthest south and western part of their cone, but it is for the most part. I think their original cone when it was out here was like a little bit farther off, like this, a little bit farther off east, but it's been pretty similar the whole time. It literally will. Yeah, it literally will follow this. Let's look at our models. Let's look at our spaghetti models. Here you go. There's all of our GEPS models. There's all of our GEPS models. There's all of our hurricane models. There's all of our GEFS models. When you have spaghetti models this tight, that's 95% confidence, basically 95 to 100% confidence. Look at our hurricane track guidance. Every single model, which they all use they all use their own algorithm. They use the same data, but separate algorithms, and they all pretty much have an identical track out over the next 72 to 96 hours. When you see that, it's practically never wrong. You can look back in history. Show the wind directions. Let me see if I can get that up on Radar Omega. It's not just the wind directions that you're looking at, though, because there are lower level wind directions and there are upper level. You have lower level winds and you have upper level winds. You can take a look at this on Windy. There's your storm. So I believe what we're looking at here is lower to mid-level winds, because you can't even see the high pressure out here. So that doesn't do much for us there. Let me go back here. Let's look at this. I'd probably want to do that. Where would I want to do that? Pivotal weather. Pivotal weather doesn't give me a good shot of the Atlantic, though. Let me try something out here. Let me try something here. Give me a second, guys. One second. This is a high pressure here. This is a high pressure here. Here's a low. Here's our front. What is... oops, sorry, here you go. Let me zoom, get this in the middle too. And let me redraw this. We have a high pressure here. We have a high here. This isn't really going to affect it. We've got a front here, low pressure here. Now, what is happening? This is moving east, okay? What is this doing, this high pressure in the northern hemisphere? Your winds in the upper atmosphere rotate clockwise. So this hurricane is strong enough to be influenced by this high pressure here, and this high pressure is pulling this storm up to the north and to the east, while at the same time this front out here to the west is pushing towards it, also pushing it off to the east. If this storm were to magically just tug away from a high pressure and ignore a front moving directly towards it, I would give up on weather. I'd delete my channel. Deal? Chat, deal? I'll delete my channel. If this hurricane just stops reacting to a high and shifts west and moves directly through a front, I'll delete my channel. Okay, deal. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, let's go back here. Let's get this little thing back on here. Is that playing? There it is. Let's go back to 6 hours. Da, 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 da. Tough said deal too. You guys are a tough crowd. Yeah, definitely throw me a follow if you want some more updates. If you become a member on YT, or if you sub on YouTube, sub on TikTok, you do get access to the Discord as well. Nora, I appreciate it. Matt, I appreciate it. What's the update? The update is we have a Cat 2 storm that might strengthen back to a Cat 3, but likely it's just going to be a fish storm. We've got 2 more storms directly behind it, or 2 more two more disturbances directly behind it. They're not storms yet, and potentially a 3rd disturbance behind it, which is going to be back here. We have another tropical wave moving off the coast. So you have 1, 2, 3, and then Hurricane Aaron here, 4. We've got a ton of cold air that's sinking in as well. Like extremely cold air that's sinking in at the end of August. We're talking, at least the GFS thinks some areas in the Central Plains could get 40 degrees below average. I don't think it's going to be that bad, but it'll be interesting to see. The latest GFS is loading. Let's see what the latest GFS is loaded at. How far in are we? Let's see, how far in are we? About 63. We'll have to wait a little bit. The Euro probably has it more accurate. The Euro does better with these type of temperature swings. But again, we're consistently seeing this out here in the plains. And tons of cold air here. I mean, all the blue and all the green and all the purple is well below average temps that are about to sink into the U.S. 12Z. Cold air. Cold air is a-coming. Yes, come on, fall. Exactly. Night Tufts. What would happen if the cold front was weaker than it's showing now? Gaming. It would still likely just pull off to the east because this high pressure is having a large effect on it. It is the majority of the steering current right now. Maybe you'd have it more like this instead of like this, but it wouldn't be that major of a difference. Yes, waiting to see which tropical wave gets named first. This one's looking spicy out back here, but we do have a lot of vorticity out. You can see a lot of vorticity right there. You can see this spinning. It just needs a little bit more. It needs a little bit more convection to flare up there, so it can close off a circulation. No problem, B. I've been getting on late. I was explaining to chat, anyone who wasn't in here earlier. Tomorrow, I should get my things around 5 to 7 p.m. We'll see. If I do, I'm going to set up my office tomorrow night, and then I will be on a much earlier time, or at least should be on earlier most of the time than 10:30 Central Time. I literally work here all day. I drive home, put my kids to bed, and then I have to drive back 2 cities to go live. And when I'm done with this, I have to drive back 2 cities to go to bed, and then at 6 a.m. I drive back here again. So it's just back and forth all day. But tomorrow, I think we'll have our stuff, and we'll finally be fully moved in. Bow Lewis 01, I appreciate you. You're in the OBX. Don't go in the water. Yeah, Jasmine, I'm racking up the miles on my car. TNT. Appreciate the roses. Let's see here. Could Kent Island, Maryland feel effects? Yeah, maybe a little, some strong wind gusts and some extra moisture that could be pulled in from this system. Yeah. Yeah. I want to look at some SSTs real quick. Let me see how much the water's changed. I'm just getting overhyped for winter. This is the coldest area I've ever lived in, and I love winter. Let's look at. Oh, we can look at historical SSTs. This is what I did in my winter video. Let's go here. All right. So what are we looking at right now? I mean, look at the MPO region. Guys, we are baking up here. Absolutely baking up to the north. Could this set up blocking? Could this set up blocking up there? Here's our transition. Here's our transition right here into a weak La Nina. Slowly starting to look like it's going to become a moderate La Nina. Another thing to note at our current sea surface temperatures is, let's move out of the way, is how warm the Atlantic is, the entire Atlantic. But what seasons looked like this? You guys tell me what you think. Wow, that was a strong La Nina. Holy crap. What was that, 2010? 2011? That was a big snow year for some, wasn't it? Holy crap. I didn't even realize that. This is an interesting, somewhat similar look. 2014, I brought that in my video. I brought that up in my video. There's no other analog, guys, that has this warm of a Northern Pacific. This is the big question mark. I can't find any other analog ever that has such a hot Northern Pacific. Yet our ice up in the Arctic, and especially up to the north of Alaska, is pretty good. We have some pretty good sea surface ice up there. So I don't know what's going on. But check out the analogs. Do you see anywhere? Like, okay, this one's pretty close. Still cooler. Still cooler. Cooler. Pretty close. You have some cool patches, though. Look at the left one. This one, again, NPO, North Pacific, still cooler. I can't find another analog ever in history that has this warm of a Northern Pacific. I just can't. I can't. It's so warm. And that is going to... What worries me about my forecast is I predict the Pacific Northwest to be dry, and there's so much... This isn't hot water, though. This is just above average water. So the water here, the warmer waters here, it isn't going to really super influence the precipitation that the Pacific Northwest gets. Well, the WPO could. The WPO could, because this is warm. This is actual warm waters. This is just above average cold water on the east side. So with the WPO that big, maybe I should change my Pacific Northwest prediction. I don't know. I've never seen it. I've never seen a Northern Pacific that looked like this. And I think I just have a feeling we're gonna get some heat and major blocking up here. That's gonna lead to some large Arctic outbreaks that we haven't seen. Maybe large extend it. It's not even about how cold I think it's going to get, but how long that cold air is going to sit around if we have the correct block set up. We'll see. They do cloud seeding in Arizona. We need they need to do cloud seeding. Yeah, but we don't. The cloud seeding technology isn't strong enough to create. If like the best cloud seeding companies in the world can only add about 1/10 of an inch of moisture into the atmosphere for a storm, it's just not enough. Who's it? And they say it's not real. Wait, what? Any rain for Arizona? Let's check on that. B, I appreciate you. Nax Cole. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look here. There's our temperature outlook for anyone who missed it. Cold, 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 cold air. Just pushing in. Well below average air. All right. I can't believe what the GFS is showing. It's insane. Let's look at some rainfall. Let's look at multi-day. Next 5 days. Not much rain in Arizona. Maybe you get some areas up to an inch, but for the most of Arizona, you're going to see 20th or 30th of an inch or less over the next 5 days. 7-day outlook, same thing. Not much in Arizona. There's not much going on. Here's our excessive rainfall today, tomorrow, and Thursday. Do you think winter will? How do you think winter will go this year? I'll just pull up my chart since I put out a video on it already. Here's how I think it'll go this year. There's my forecast. The dry and mild areas are a tough call because I've never seen a northern Pacific as warm as it is, and that's gonna change the way a typical La Nina is gonna work, I think. So that's a tough call. KJ, I appreciate you. Let's see. So is Philly in the large snowstorm or above average? I would say above average. Although you guys Philly hasn't had a nice nor'easter in quite a while, so it feels like you're kind of due for that, right? You typically see more nor'easters, not as spread out up there, so it's definitely possible to get a large snowstorm. Listen, to have above average snow in Philly, which averages about, believe it or not, 16 to 18 inches a year. I know you guys haven't hit your average in 5 years, but to get above that average, you're probably going to have at least one large snowstorm. Yeah, Philly said I'm due. Well, it hasn't gotten nothing, but yes, it's gotten well below average each of the last 5 years. Yep, been pretty bad. The 3 years I lived there, I think the most we had was like 2 years ago when we had like 12 inches the whole winter. I was living up in Levittown. That average is closer to 20, which is it's so terrible. Maryland and Delaware finally got some good snow last year, though. They were in a drought. They finally saw some good snow. Yeah, the South did too. Florida got a foot of snow. Mississippi, Louisiana, portions of Alabama, Southern Alabama. You think severe weather will start to kick in the first week of September? I do because we have a big push of cold air that's a little bit earlier than it should be, and I think fall severe weather season is gonna kick in about 2 weeks or less, earlier than it should. One second, guys. Oh yeah, I think that's gonna happen. Really quickly, If we look at this, let's look at how the GFS brings in these temperature anomalies coming up here. I mean, look at this interaction here. You've got a big upper level low moving into some pretty warm air out ahead of it. And here's our low. So, you know, this could bring in, this could be our first potential nice setup 4 or 5 days out. This is still loading, but we'll see what the new GFS shows us. Let's look at I want to look at our Rufus, see if our Rufus sees anything moving. I don't think our Rufus is looking far enough out. The Rufus is loading too. Dang it. Well, I'm gonna look at what's loaded anyways for severe weather wise. Wow, look at that, guys. Look at the storm down here on the Rufus. That's crazy. I've never seen a hurricane on the Rufus like that. Yeah, I think the end of the Rufus run is going to show some nice or some dangerous severe weather moving in through the northern plains and pushing out to the east. Just based on where that low wants to move across. Surfline Lotus model? I don't know if I've ever heard of that before. I can't even find it. Hold up. One second. I don't think I've ever looked at a swell model. I guess I've just never been interested, never had anyone ask. Like when it comes to surge, you typically know what you're going to see based on the size and strength of a storm and depending on what sector you're in. Northeast, southeast, southwest, or northwest. It's very interesting. Yeah, I don't need to look at the Pacific, thank you. Can we go back and look at, hold up. That's not showing anything very significant. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Oh, why is it skipping? Why is it skipping? It's just completely skipping over that. One sec, guys. It's just completely skipping over this. Hold up, let me go back here. Significant wave height. Here we go. Yeah, they're all skipping over when the storm passes by. Oh, this is, wait, hold up. Here we go. There it is. Oh, wow. Okay, so here we go. So this is saying wave heights potentially up to 28 to 30 feet off the coast of Carolina and Virginia. 28 to 30 feet. That's pretty nice. Regional wave model. Yeah, that's not really it's kind of a swell. 30-foot waves off the coast of Carolina. Anyone gonna go surf that? Is Aaron hitting Nova Scotia? Likely not. Joseph. I appreciate you. It's like Joseph, but Joseph. Jasmine. Yeah, I would hope not. Is there really some cold coming down? Oh, yeah, there is. Oh, yeah, there is. Oh, yeah, there is. When's the last time we saw this, guys? This represents an 80% chance. This all in here is a 50 to 80% chance in the darker shades of below average temperatures. Over the next 6 to 10 days, pushing out 2 weeks, we're still in the blue. Some areas are going to see maybe only 5 to 10 degrees below average. Some areas are going to potentially see up to 30 degrees below average for this time of year. In New York City, we haven't had a big snowstorm since 2021. Yeah, I don't think Philly's had a big snowstorm since 2019. Correct me if I'm wrong, Philadelphians. I almost said Filipinos. That's a no. That's a Philadelphians. How tired are you? Yeah, a little tired. We're about to have a catastrophic winter. Listen, there's going to be something about this winter that is different from any winter we've ever seen. Manders, what's going on? And that is simply because there is no possible way we have an absolutely record-shattering Northern Pacific. Right? There's no way we have a record-shattering warm North Pacific. NPO, WPO, EPO, NPO, and we're not going to... Well, this is more of EPO, this is EPO. We're not going to see a significant change in precipitation, a significant change in blocking patterns. Something big is going to happen this winter just because I can't find an analog. Look, I can't find an analog where look at this section of the Northern Pacific up here. Look at this section of the Northern Pacific. I can't find anything. Nothing where it's that warm. We get close, nothing like this. So it's gonna throw everyone's forecasts off. It's gonna mess around. I don't know. I'm gonna be doing a little bit more research into that over the next 2 weeks. But again, that's why I used the 2014 analog in my winter forecast video, because the 2014 analog, in my opinion, here on the left side gets pretty close. So does I used the 2019 analog. This one gets pretty close. Still have some cold patches, but it still has kind of a transferring into a La Nina, well, at least in the Nino 4, not in the Nino 3, but it's kind of whatever. It's the closest I could get. You came up that way yesterday, but only briefly. Wow, thanks for stopping by and saying hi. Confused, blonde. Tell Aaron to go away. Okay. Sorry. I muted myself. Yeah, no, the Farmer's Almanac, if you look at the last 10 years, I think it was right only 3 times. Or not even right, but sort of okay to being a good forecast. I don't know. When did I mute myself? What were you saying? When did I mute myself, guys? as I was saying, after you said bye, Aaron. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. That was too long ago. Yeah, but for people who are asking, let's move over to Weather Bell. Just want to show you this blocking pattern we have setting up here. Let's take a little bit of a wider. Let's move out a little bit. Well, I didn't mean to go into the northern hemisphere. We can just go to North America. That'd be good. Okay. Here we go. Let's... Oh, should we see what's happening up in the stratosphere? That's not what I'm looking for. Nothing interesting, that's for sure. All right, let's get to what I'm trying to talk about here. Give me a second. Here we go. Okay. This is the Euro. Our cold air moves in around the 23rd. We have a block set up over Alaska, stretching through Canada, and potentially we get that. Well, we kind of hold negative NAO out here to keep. That's what's going to hold this cool air in. You see, when you have higher heights out to the west and higher heights out to the east, there you go. When you have higher heights out to the west and higher heights out to the east, you can see how I went too long without streaming. And then you have higher heights up to the north. This is a pretty good block. We're going to have a negative NAO. We're going to have about a neutral AO. Negative NAO. This is a positive PNA out here. Ridging. Negative NAO out here. And that's going to set up this blocking. Now, this cold air could move in and sweep right out. And we get 2 to 3 days of cool air. And then we get heat up again. But because of this blocking pattern, that's likely not to happen. It's going to move in and then it's going to get trapped just like that. Let's go back to the 12Z here. So the new model actually has it sticking around a little bit longer. This doesn't completely represent all the cold, but it's a pretty good representation of it. Typically under ridges, you're going to have more heat. Typically under a ridge, you're going to have more heat, and under a trough, you're going to have more cool air. That's simply because if you look at how this works, in a trough, your air is moving down like this. So it's pulling that cold air down from the north. You can see it pulling that cold air down from the north. And if you follow our isobar lines on a ridge, it's pulling air down from the south. This air down here is warm. This air up here is cold. It's actually a super simple concept. So your troughing is going to be pulling down cold air into this valley, and your ridging is going to be pulling warm air up into that ridge. So that moves out there, and then we get another we get this lingering cold again. I mean, this is a really interesting pattern getting into fall. Look at the southeast. Yeah, interesting. You're in the North Carolina coast, and I'm really scared. You don't need to be. Tampa is going to get cold, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. Here we go. Look at that. End of August, 28th, 29th, 30th, the Euro wants to bring some, not cold temperatures in the Tampa, but well below average temperatures in the Tampa. I mean, if you look all the way out to August 29th, it's showing temperatures in Tampa 15 to 20 degrees below average. Hey, maybe you get lows in like the high 50s. That would be nice. Yeah, you have areas under evacuation order. The The barrier islands. Yeah. What I mean, guys, what's our surge report? Our surge forecast? That's not what I want. Let me go back. Let me just go to NHC and pull it up. This should give me it here. Here we go. Peak surge. I mean, listen, no one freak out. It's 2 to 4 feet. For reference, we saw like 16 plus feet from, I want to say, was it Milton or Helene? Helene in the Big Bend of Florida. So is this not great? It's not great, but it's more bad for beach erosion than it is for like absolute destruction along the coast. This is like minimal. You can get 2 to 4 feet of surge from a random low pressure system that gets too close off the coast. I think they probably were. I know they called for evacuation orders out here, and if you're asking me, heed evacuation orders. It's not worth it. Just heed it. I'm not telling you to ignore evacuation orders. Like 100%, if it's evacuated, you evacuate. All I'm saying is if you're worried about your property or your stuff flooding, I don't think we're going to have too bad of flooding out here at 2 to 4 feet of storm surge. I mean, if I were to grade that storm surge on a scale of F to A, it'd be like a D plus. Pretty weak stuff. Now if this hurricane takes, if Aaron stays a little bit farther to the left of this track, you may get pushed up to 4 to 6 or 4 to 7, because I think that's what they jumped to, 4 to 7 feet of storm surge. And in that case, still not, I wouldn't call it super life-threatening. I wouldn't call 4 to 7 feet of storm surge life-threatening, but it's definitely could cause damage and flooding the property. Once you get over 10 feet, that's when stuff starts to look really bad. But yeah, if this takes a far western track, you could see that storm surge maybe jump up to 4 to 7 feet. But right now, not overly concerned about surge, wind, rain, anything like that over on the coast. Were they mandatory evacuations? They always do that for barrier islands. Yeah, they have mandatory. It's probably all the barrier islands. So it says all visitors and non-residents are ordered to evacuate. And then this says, and then for Hatteras Island, visitors, so residents are told to evacuate Hatteras Island, and then all, how do you pronounce that? Ocracoke Island visitors. But the residents on here are allowed to stay. So you actually only have Hatteras Island being ordered to evacuate residents. Ocracoke? Yeah, so Ocracoke, they're actually only evacuating non-residents and property owners, so visitors. Hatteras, they're evacuating residents. I think it's out of an abundance of precaution. It's never a bad idea. So let me see if this will actually show the visual here. Oh, whatever. But the consensus, as I said earlier, the consensus on our spaghetti models down here is pretty tight. Staying pretty far offshore. Looks like North Carolina and Virginia are the prime spots with this one. Storm surge is the main concern. Again, We're talking minimal. We're talking minimal surge. Yeah, that's the thing. You could get some water up over the lowest lying areas, over the road and stuff. If you do get up to 4 feet of surge. But it's not life-threatening surge. You just don't want to be stranded. The problem, why they evacuate people typically, is if there's a medical emergency unrelated to the storm and the roads are flooded and impassable, they help can't get to you. It's more of they're worried about that than or if there's a fire and the trucks can't get to you and you're stuck. If they're more worried about that than they are about actually like this surge coming in and sweeping people away. They're more worried about not being able to drive through some of the roads that might flood. J-Sup, I appreciate you. Highway tow is the only way on and off the island, yeah. That's like, I used to go down to the Keys a lot when I lived in South Florida, and it's one road in, one road out for the entire, man, how long is that drive down to Key West from the top of the Keys? Few hours. Yeah, a few hours. One road in, one road out. And a big stretch of that road is one lane. I didn't mute you. Did you say something bad, Hannah? But yeah, right now surge isn't too bad. 2 to 4, you know, it's not fun, but it's on the low end. They did upgrade us to a tropical storm warning out here. And tropical storm watch, interestingly, all the way up through. I think this is a little overkill, tropical storm watch up here in southeastern Delaware, but that's fine. Again, this hurricane is very large. It's very large, so I guess I can see why. Yeah, it's very large. You know, that swells model we were looking at was showing potential up to 30-foot waves just off the coast of the Carolinas. Those waves won't be crashing into the shore, though. They'll be out to sea. Your dad is in Delaware. In Rehoboth? How do you pronounce that? Where is that? Down here? Ba-na-na-na. Overkill indeed. Yeah. Yo, you know what we haven't looked at this stream yet, guys? We haven't looked at... All right, I'm a little bit more tired today than I was my last few days streaming. Work kind of kicked my butt today, I'm not going to lie. I was feeling good in the morning, and then I had some people emailing me some things, and I was like, it's going to be one of those days. And it was one of those days, but it's okay. All right, let's see. Okay, so the latest GFS is really trended east with that next system. Still wants to see TCG around August 24th, 5 days out. Here it is. The latest GFS still showing a tropical storm forming out here. I got to switch screens. Still showing a tropical storm forming right around the area where, just to the southeast of where Aaron is now. Got to fix this before I keep going. Okay. Right off to the southeast of where Aaron is now, but it has it moving off into the open waters. It's really trying to give up on that. Okay. Let's take a look at our icon. Our icon sees the same exact thing. This would probably end up being a depression or a tropical storm. Here's our high pressure. And, oh, see, you see, this is what's happening. We've got another potential high setting up here. And it's going to fall. It's going to run right through the middle. Watch. There it goes. Okay. Well, that would be great. I mean, this is a nice little savior right here. If this sets up like this, I could see this high pressure being here after we get a bunch of cold air moving in, and that would help to steer the storm off to the north and east as well. So icon and GFS still see this next storm forming right here, but not doing much. Let's take a look at some other models real quick. Let's take a look at the Euro. The Euro sees the system as well. You can see it here trying to get itself together, struggling to form, maybe as a depression. So the models have downtrended on the system behind Aaron, at least for this model run, because we know what happens run to run. Let's go back to the GFS here. My question is, oh, you know what? Yeah, this is what's, guys, this is what's bringing in all our cold air. I wasn't looking at this correctly. Here's our troughing. Here's our big upper level low that's bringing in that huge cold blast that we're all excited for, that early taste of fall. And with our steering current out here and with this trough digging into the States, this is going to act as a boundary here. I can 100% see why this is, why. The only way that this thing probably makes landfall in the States is if it develops far enough south and isn't fully influenced by our high pressure to the north, and it continues to float west, because then it would dig under that. What it would do is it would let this trough move off to the east. It would float under it, and then it would move up. It would become a Gulf concern, a Gulf state concern, or yeah, a Gulf state concern in here, which is still a possibility. But I don't see any possibility looking at these latest model runs, and this isn't too far out either. We're only talking 96 hours out. With this trough moving in, and with where our high pressures are located out here, I don't see any way that this next storm moves into the East Coast. I don't see any way that it moves into the East Coast. It would have to struggle to develop down here and continue to float west, which is what some models did see it doing before, and I still think it's possible. And then it would become probably a Gulf landfalling hurricane or tropical storm. But we'll have to see. But that's 100% why all these models are throwing it off to the north. Mezzo. Matt, you see what I'm talking about? Our tropical, our what's probably going to be our next tropical storm here. They were all seeing this and this. But what's bringing in all of our cold air right here, what's bringing in all of that cold air and that big upper level low is going to sink in, and it's going to, with the help of this high pressure, bounce this storm back out as well, unless it develops a little bit farther to the south as a weaker system and it's able to creep under this system. Then it becomes a Gulf landfall. I think they're all downplaying what's happening behind it, though. The MDR is really hot right now. We have we have more, a lot more going on back there too. Let me go back over to Radar Omega real quick. Nice little lineup. Look at this thing right now. Now, do we have an actual? Yeah, I mean, you've got rotation, you've got vorticity in here. Kind of just like a blob, but you can actually see this thing developing nicely right now. That might actually develop before we have another low pressure. I think it's right here. I have to look at a different map where I can actually see the low level circulation, but. Night Confused Bond. Cold air, Florida. We'll welcome that. Yeah. Around. I mean, a lot of these models are predicting 28th, 29th, 30th of August. You get a nice cool down, Florida. 89 away. Wait. From 100K followers. Hey, guys. From 100K followers, Matt, Guys, can you go follow Mesomat who's in chat, because he's 89 followers away from 100K, and whoever's his 100K follower, he's gonna give $10,000. Okay, I'm kidding about that last part. He's not gonna give you $10,000, but go follow him. Go follow Mesomat. Get him to. Okay, you know what? I'm pulling. No. Did Matt say tomorrow? Does he not want it to happen tonight? Matt, do you not want it to happen tonight? What if it happens tonight, though? Are you going to be mad if it happens tonight? Guys, do you want to just piss him off? Matt, you should have never told me that. Guys, see if you can get him to 100K followers tonight just to piss him off. Okay? I'm pinning his comment. There, that's him, Mesomat, on TikTok. $232 people in here. We need like a third of you to follow him. Do I follow him on all my accounts? What's the app? TikTok. Mesomat. I wish I could see. Here, let me show you guys. Here, I'll show you. Guys, look. You think I'm joking? Look at his follower count. Where's the Hurricanes behind Aaron Headit? Same direction as Aaron as of now, as of our latest model runs. Is it going to hit Ocean City bad? No, not. I don't think you're gonna have too big of effects there. Some people said already follow. Nice. I like how when I told people to go follow Matt, I got like 20 new followers. He's got to be like 50. He's got to be like 50 away if he was 89 away before. Yeah. I'm gonna take a quick poll. Although no one ever answers all the polls. I'm gonna see who's followed him. Quick poll, custom. Have you followed Matt yet? Yes. I should do Mesomat. Okay. Let's see. Let's see who the real ones are in this stream right now. Can you guys see where the poll is? He's still at 99.9. So close. I just refreshed it. Also follow James Spann. This isn't about James Spann right now, okay? Should I unfollow him? I'm kidding. Come on. I think I'm as zoomed in as I can get. Let's see. Let's see. How many people answered my poll? Oh, okay. I have 2 people who said no. Thanks for being honest, guys. All right. Yeah, we've got him at least 30 to 40 new followers. He's got to be like 40 followers away. Are these his most recent followers? Are any of you on here? I feel like this is his most recent followers. Oh, Alex, you're there? Let's see. We're so close. Guys, I appreciate you following me, definitely. But definitely follow Mezzo Matt. He's about to hit 100K. All right, I'm going to go back to that in a little bit. All right, we're going to keep talking about weather for a little bit, but I'm going to go back to that in a little bit. I expect to see 100K. And then he can finally celebrate. He's been working on this. He's been doing this for over, I think, 2 years. So, pretty big moment. Like, Matt's not a guy who just, like, had one huge video and got, like, 50K, 60K followers. Like, Matt's been grinding, putting in the work every single day. Look at this. He does it full time. He also does some weird stuff. See the cat and the frog? I don't know what's going on there, but, you know. No, Matt's been grinding. We're going to go check on that in a little bit. There she is. Yes, he does. He covers all 50 states. Listen, I'm guilty of covering mainly 48 states, but I will cover Hawaii and Alaska if something significant's going on up there. 14% of people admitted to not following Matt. Rude. The honesty's the best policy, though. Oh, that's all good, Kyle. Yeah, James Spann's pretty popular guy. I do think Long Island's going to see some okay snow this year, yes. Or some good snow. Not everyone can handle me, it's okay. Matt is having a giggle fit over here. Oh, wait. I was going to say, he's not. Oh, no, he's not live because he can't comment in a stream when you're live. Hey, Matt, I don't know if you saw before you head on out of here. Oh, God, I love Weather Bell. Have you seen the GFS is on crack with these. The GFS thinks we're going to see temps get down into the 40s in Oklahoma, or as a low in the 40s in Oklahoma and Kansas in August. Let's go into regions. What do they have? Do they have Central Plains? I always call it the Central Plains, but it's not really. U.S. Central. Okay. 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 Are we seeing this? 30, almost 32 degrees below average. Are we seeing this? Can you guys see this? What is this? This is only 160 hours out too, which isn't crazy for temperature. I love the fact that we're in that part. The eye did collapse a little bit, but I think it might. I think it's going to pop back out here in 12 hours. I think we're going to get back. It's recovered its northwestern sector there, so it's looking healthy. It is time to get Weather Bell back. Look at what we're looking at, Matt. Weather and Matt, like the teleconnections. Oh my God, it's such a pretty look when it's all coming together. I've been looking at this. Look at our EPO, dude. Oh my goodness. We are down here. NAO negative. Look at this PNA. This is all cold, 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 cold for the central out east. PNA, NAO, EPO. I love looking at these. Let's look at our GFS. I think maybe even more drastic. Look at our GFS. This is what's happening in the plains on our GFS. Our freaking PNA is almost up to a 4 positive. Wild stuff. Weird it has our NAO going positive quicker though. But yeah, it's time for Weather Bell because it's giving us some good stuff. 32 degrees below average. Let's look at what our actual temperature may be out here. You guys want to see that? Could we hit the 40s in August? In Kansas or Oklahoma? Let's see. Probably not, but could we get close? We're in the 40s up here in August. Let's see. Look at, what is the high this day? Hold up, wait. Getting into 3, 6, 9, 12. We're talking about highs in the low 60s to high 50s they're seeing for August 26 in this region. Highs in the low 60s in August in Oklahoma and Kansas. No, that would be absolutely insane. I mean, look at this. Unbelievable. Unbelievable cold. Hey, look at that. Kentucky. Owensboro. Potentially getting down. Low of 52. Low of 51. Insane. Oh, look at that. Almost a low of 40. Low of 50 right there. But the GFS, I think, is a little too aggressive on this, if I'm being honest. The Euro shows very cold, too. Not that cold, but very cold as well. They both show very cold. You can see when the Euro begins to pop in here. Look at that. The Euro's coming down with vengeance. Let's go back to our 12Z here. Sorry, I can push out from the plains. I really wanted to see what was going on in the plains there. I'll show you guys more of the rest of the country so you can see how your area could be affected by this. Here's our Euro coming down in here. We've got lots of 40s and 50s across the Midwest and Northern Plains. I mean, look at this. Ohio, most of Illinois. This is a lot of cold air punching down into here. We're getting down into the 30s in Colorado in August. 20s in some areas potentially. So the Euro doesn't have it as cold, but the Euro does have some pretty cold air punching in here for August. That's crazy. Widespread 40s, 50s, some 30s, 20s out in Colorado. Just so you guys know what's going here. I'll show you Northeast here. We'll look at the GFS for fun. I actually think the Euro might be underestimating it just based on how strong it looks like it's coming in. So it could be a mix of the GFS and Euro. Let's look at our GFS for the Northeast. Here's the GFS for the Northeast. When should Texas expect Central to Northern Texas is going to get a little bit of a cool down from this. Not major, though. You guys might need to wait a tiny bit longer. Look at the Northeast here. Wow. Next week. About a week. It's about a week out. 6 days, maybe. Widespread 40s and 50s up here. You've got lows getting down close to Philly, trying to get down into around the low 50s. We got New York City getting into 54, 55. Lots of widespread 40s out here. Guys, and like this isn't crazy cold, right? But this is August we're talking about. This is classified as summer. This is August. So it's very abnormal. One second. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we were in October right now, I'd be like, this isn't that cold. We're in August right now. It could bring some bad weather. It could bring a little bit of severe weather with it. We'll have to. I'm gonna wait a day or two and see what, because severe weather, precipitation is more of a local thing. You need to get a little bit closer to forecast than you do temperatures. Temperatures are easier to forecast. Really quickly, Mid-Atlantic will push down a little bit to the south. You're feeling some of this in the Carolinas as well. Look at this air push down into around Charlotte. We're getting into the low 50s potentially down here. Mid to low 50s potentially down here. Raleigh, Durham, Charlotte in August. That's something else that's very crazy. Our Great Lakes region. Now, here's our Ohio Valley. Temps in the 40s down in the Smokies, maybe. Impressive. Like this right here is extremely impressive. If we were to even get anything close to this. All those blues and unders are 50s and colder. And for summertime, yeah, imagine that. Imagine that. So let me go back down to the south central plains. So around Texas. I know some of you guys want to see that. There's deep south down here. We're not going to see a big effect there. South central. There we go. So you can see some of this cool air wanting to creep down into central to northern Texas, where we're getting, you know, let's look at our temperature anomaly so we can see it a little bit better. We have temp anomalies getting down into central to, I mean, we're talking about Dallas, 10 to 15 degrees potentially, but below average. I think it'll probably be closer to 7 to 12 degrees below average if we see something like this. I think this is exaggerating a little bit. But this is pretty cold. All these, you know, that green and that purple, that green, dark blue, and that purple is well below average. Next week we have lows in, yeah, I mean, guys, portions of Oklahoma and Kansas, if this were to happen, would have literal highs in like the high 50s, low 60s in August, which should be crazy. Next week we have lows in the 70s in North Texas. Next week you could have lows colder than that in North Texas. They could definitely get colder than that. And we'll have to see which model wins out. The Euro tends to win out the most of the time, but sometimes you get a mix of the Euro and GFS this early on in the season, especially. But you can see the temperatures in North Texas getting down on these models. 63, 62. Far North Texas, they get down into the 50s. Widespread 60s here. Widespread 60s and 50s here. So Houston's going to be tough. Houston will see a little bit of little tiny cool down, but it's really going to, this cold air is going to struggle to get past this point, but some of it's going to leak in. Some of it will. The confidence in this cold outbreak is very high. It's just it's just the intensity of it that we're trying to figure out. But the confidence in this cold outbreak is very high. Wait 1 second. Sorry, I'm reading something, guys. So yeah, someone said something about the ice. What are you guys talking about in chat? Icebergs are melting. We had actually a large increase in ice recently in Antarctica. We actually, there's more ice on the planet, I think, now than there was 2 years ago. We had a little bit of an increase. Our ozone layer has healed up a little bit, and we've actually gone up in ice on the planet. Not anything drastic, but we actually do have, our ice has recovered slightly. Our ice isn't doing bad up in the Arctic either. We can take a look at that here too. So we can go to, I got to find my way up back around this every time I get it again. Let's look at our, I don't need historical snowfall. Here we go. Here's our ice. Let's push back here. So we can look back through the winters. All right. So let's go to August of 23. All right. Let's go to this day, August of 23. Let's look at what's happening with our ice up to the north. By the way, if there's more ice, you know what? I love talking about this. I think I have to switch this up real quick. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Give me 1 second. This is for all my doomsdayers out there. This is for all my doomsdayers out there and my yeah, for all my doomsdayers out there. I want you to take a look at something, okay? We're getting serious now. Here's August of 2023. Now, Antarctica over the last few years has actually grown ice. Who cares? I don't care about Antarctica. I live in the northern hemisphere. Who cares? Except for I love penguins. So See this big gap of ice right here? See that? Where's all the ice? A little bit more ice makes a big difference because a little bit more ice allows for cooler air to be transferred from areas like Siberia and the poles down into the North America, cooling the surface to our north a little bit more, and that allows more snow to be captured, more sunlight to be reflected, and therefore we get a colder North America over winter. So there's August of 23. There's August of 24. Okay? There's August of 24. Where'd all the ice go? There's less ice again. Where's all our ice here to the north of Alaska, northwestern Canada? Where's all the ice? Where's all the ice? All right, let's fast forward. You guys notice something? You guys notice what happened? We're back in August, but now we're in 2025. Look at all this ice that's there. That wasn't there in 23 or 24. You might think that's not a lot of ice. That's a lot of frickin' ice. And that ice is now going to start growing again in about 2 weeks. The ice filled in. Not only did the ice fill in portions of the Arctic, but ice is filling in. Large chunks of ice are filling in Antarctica. And reports have came out over the last 2 years that the ozone layer is healing itself. Almost like it's done that after 7 major ice ages that the planet's had. It's almost like we've had 7 major ice ages, and then we've gone back to... but then our globe is reacclimated. Is that the word I'm looking for? The Earth has a great way of fixing its problems, and humans give themselves way too much credit. We're doing bad stuff to the planet for sure, but the Earth's pretty strong. The Earth's doing a pretty good job at fixing it. The ice recovery is good to see. The ozone recovery is good to see. And but what does this mean for us in the short term? This means we could have quite a cold winter because we haven't seen ice like this. Let me go back even further. Can I go back to 2022? Look at 2022. Look at this big gap of ice. We're talking about we haven't seen ice like this, and I probably more closer to 10 years, I would think, but maybe 5-6 years at a minimum. The more ice you have up here, this is all on. We're talking all. That's August 28th. We're talking all August 18th. Okay, so we have the most ice we've had in a while. That's going to help us cool down up here. That could potentially have pretty significant impacts on how cold this winter is. This is Weather Bell. But yeah, I don't think they... Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to show us Southern Hemisphere. For those of you who don't know, the Northern Hemisphere is like way cooler meteorologically than the Southern Hemisphere. Does anyone know why? Why it's Northern Hemisphere is what everyone studies when they're trying to figure out what's happening to our planet for the most part? Well, other than the fact that I think like 85% of the population on planet Earth lives in the Northern Hemisphere. The tilt of the Earth, yeah. Our Arctic experiences way colder and more drastic conditions than Antarctica. So when we have temperature swings and record heat, record cold, and record conditions and wind, and most of our craziest weather events on planet Earth, the large majority of our craziest weather events on planet Earth happen in the Northern Hemisphere because we have an Arctic that is much more volatile. And for those of you who know about meteorology, our Arctic controls a lot of our weather. Our Arctic and our ocean currents. But our ocean currents up here pull down this Arctic water along the Pacific coast and then along the European coast as well. But The Arctic is way more volatile than the Antarctic, so we have a lot more extreme weather up in the northern hemisphere, and we have the majority of our population up here as well. But yes, we have crazy amounts of ice up here right now, and that may lead to a... We'll see. That may lead to a pretty cold surface. We actually have some snow on the ground in British Columbia already, by the way. We have some snow on the ground. But, yeah. Yeah, and that's also one of the reasons... That's also one of the reasons we're going with... where is it? That's also one of the reasons we're going with... Not that. That's my thumbnail. Oh, not that. That's also one of the reasons we're definitely going with this polar vortex area. Right here, I'll show you. Maybe I need to expand this down a little bit farther south. But I think we're going to have some big Arctic outbreaks. We'll see. We'll see. About a month we'll be able to see. We'll have a much better understanding of what our winter's going to look like. But our ice is looking good, chat. Our ice is looking good. El Nino has entered the chat. Nah, we're not going to be in an El Nino this winter. I don't even think we'll be in an El Nino next summer. I think we could get into it. I think we may be in an El Nino next winter. Like 15 months from now. Didn't expect this level of hype from a weather stream. We're trying to bring the energy, you know what I mean? Make weather cool again. You know, my friend Phil, who helped me design my logo and everything, he really wanted me to create merch that said everything's better when it's wetter. But I really wanted this to be a family-friendly channel, so we decided not to go with it. Hi, my name is Evan. I'm a fan of your channel, Connor. What's going on, Evan? What is going on? I appreciate that. Wait, who blocked you, Kyle? Oh, Matt. Guys, do you think he hit 100K? Yeah, this will be a fish orb. It's been cool. People are just sleeping on it. True. You're right. No, you're right. Do you think winter might be bad for Texas since it's been raining a lot this summer? It's tough to tell. Listen, weak La Nina is actually... I'm taking a gamble with my Pacific Northwest and my Southern prediction because there's been a plenty of weak La Ninas that lead to a very cold or below average temperature Texas for winter. So this is definitely a possibility that this tries to trend in that direction. But, you know, if I'm making a prediction, winter forecast, I've got to take some gambles because it never works out perfectly how you think it's gonna. So I'm taking the best gambles I can. Well, listen, I will say, yes. We've seen hurricanes are something that if you look at the last 50 years, there's been almost, if you look at the average of the last 50 years, there's been almost no change in frequency or strength of hurricanes. There hasn't been a downtick. There hasn't been an uptick. There's been a slight downtrend actually, but it's almost unnoticeable. But regardless of if you believe in climate change or global warming or whatnot, it doesn't matter. The Earth is warming. Well, if humans were dead, if humans didn't exist, the Earth would be warming. We're in an ice age technically, but it's called an interglacial period because we're exiting the ice age. The Earth freezes. We have major ice ages. We've had 7 of them. It freezes, okay, and then we come out of the freeze. We warm up, and the ice melts, and then all the oceans rise and get really cold from all that ice melting, and we enter another ice age. I mean, that's what happens. We're warming. We've warmed after every other ice age. We're warming right now. But the question of climate change and global warming isn't whether we're warming or not, is are we artificially speeding up the rate at which the Earth is warming? That's the only question. It's not, are we warming or not? Yeah, the ocean's warming, which is also, I find it's weird that we are warming and we're not seeing stronger hurricanes. But remember, a 50 to 100 year span that we've been keeping track of cyclones in the span of your 250,000 years between ice ages is, or more than that for major ice ages, is 50 years or 100 years is a very small sample size. It's a sample size that is literally irrelevant. It's absolutely irrelevant. But yes, you would think a warming Earth, there's more moisture in the air. If there's more moisture in the air, there's more opportunity for that moisture to release heat into the atmosphere, which fuels severe weather. But you don't need to believe in climate change or global warming to understand the Earth's warming, because the Earth warming is just a fact. But it's, again, that's another thing. It's warming at a rate that is just very slow. It's very slow. Like we're not really, like a normal human through their lifetime isn't really going to see the effects of that warming at all. Very slow. It's a good sign that we have our ozone healing up right now, but we need to try to make sure that stays that way. You know what I'm saying? Is hurricane really the size of 4 states? Well, if you're talking about states up in the Northeast, it's the size of about 20. Yeah. Huge hurricane. Yep. We could compare it to like some other hurricanes. I'm trying to think about what a really small hurricane was. I'm trying to think of one that was really small. You know what was a really small hurricane? Hurricane Andrew, actually. Hurricane Andrew was. Let's do this. Yeah. Let's compare this. Okay. Here's the size. Okay, look, I want you guys to look at this down here. I have Hurricane Andrew on my other screen. Hurricane Andrew was about this big. Okay? Maybe a little bigger. We'll give it a little more girthiness. This was about the size of Hurricane Andrew. You see it on my other screen right below me? Here. Look at South Florida. It was a little bit wider than that. Okay, this is the size of Aaron. Aaron eats Andrew for breakfast, if we're talking size-wise. Eats Andrew for breakfast, spits it out. Yes, Aaron is an abnormally large hurricane. We've seen bigger. But it's got to be up there. It's got to be up there with some of the biggest. 100% has to be up there with some of the biggest hurricanes. Are any hurricanes coming into the Gulf next week? Like I said, there's a tropical wave back here that if it doesn't strengthen in time and if it stays farther to the south, may duck under our little trough that's going to plummet down and bring us cold air. If that happens, we're going to have a threat to the Gulf. That's a big if. A big if. We don't know yet. Big if. I don't think New York City is going to see much from this. It could pull in a little excess moisture and you could get some rain, some gusty conditions, but not much. Not really anything that feels tropical. Aaron better not pull a reverse Uno like Katrina. Katrina came in like this. That was Katrina's path. Oh, it didn't loop. Didn't do that part. Oh, what time is it? Almost 2 hours. I should probably get off, guys. I should probably... Did Matt hit 100K followers, though? Before I get off, I just want to check that. I want to make one last push for him before I get off. Guys, for anyone who doesn't know, and I appreciate the follows, gifts, all that good stuff. You guys just being in here, helping the algorithm out. But I post every day and I stream every day as well. I'm really going to be streaming 5 to 6 days a week, not 7 days a week. I need to spend a day with my kids. My wife told me, like, whatever. I'm just kidding. I do want to, it's healthy to have a day or two off. But I stream most days, post every day, updates. If you do want to become a member or sub on TikTok, it's just $2.99 a month, and you get access to the Discord. We had a lot of people in there, a lot of cool stuff in there. Let me check real quick if Matt hit 100K followers real quick, because for those of you who don't know Matt, he's my boy. I work with him a lot on stuff, run a lot by him. He is at 999K still. All right, I'll make one last push for him before I go to bed. 999,000 followers. I think he's around 40 followers away, because a while ago he was at like 85 followers away, and we had a bunch of people follow him, like a ton. So, listen, guys, don't make me make like 40 fake accounts tonight. Come on. Don't do that to me. He does the same thing. Oh, he's live right now. Oh, he's about to go live. Oh, he's going to hit it. He's going to hit it. He's going to hit it. You guys, I'm going to get off, guys. I got to wake up early for work, make another video. All my furniture is arriving here. I have to literally unpack and set up this entire house, which is great. I'm glad my stuff's finally here. But tomorrow's going to be a long day, so I got to get off. But if you guys want to go show Matt some love and watch him hit 100K and celebrate, this is probably the time to do it. He's been working at this school for 2 years, plus 2 years plus. So that'd be awesome. I appreciate you guys. He'll probably hit that within the next 20 minutes if he goes live right now, which he is going live right now. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you. Mod, you're legendary as always. We're going to have a lot to talk about in the next few days because this cold air is sinking in. I'm interested to see if we get down to any records. We might see some records broken. We will see some cold air records broken. I just don't know where exactly. Maybe Central Plains. All right. Everyone, have a great night. I'll be back on tomorrow. I'm going to try to get out another video in the morning. The problem is I have a lot going on tomorrow morning, so if I don't, it's just going to be after work. But I'm going to try to get that video out first thing in the morning on some more updates here. Everyone, have a great night. You were awesome, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.